So imagine you see an angry person at the grocery store, or maybe you get like a really rude clipped email from a coworker.
Right, and your immediate instinct is to just react.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is so easy to judge a book by its cover, right? But today we're jumping into a deep dive on a specific daily reflection. It's day 47, Living a Life of Compassion.
Yeah, and the mission here is to really uncover what it means to see the hidden burdens behind that outward behavior.
Which is huge, because the text points out that we rarely see the pain or, the sleepless nights driving that rude response. It's kind of like looking at a tree and judging it by a broken branch.
While completely ignoring that its roots are dying of thirst.
Yes. But how do we actually train ourselves to see those roots instead of just reacting to the branch?
Well, the source explains that it requires a fundamental shift in perception, basically moving from observing behavior to observing need.
Okay, that makes sense.
And it uses a historical context to illustrate this, specifically drawing from the biblical book of Matthew chapter 9. It notes how Jesus looked at the crowds and saw them as harassed and helpless.
So not just looking at their outward actions.
Exactly. He was seeing their fears, their loneliness, and their spiritual hunger, according to the text.
Right. But seeing that unseen burden, I mean, that's really only step one, isn't it?
Yeah, the document argues that true perception has to um, inherently trigger a physical response.
Because compassion isn't just a feeling of pity.
Right. Going back to that historical example in the text, it stresses that Jesus didn't just notice the hungry or brokenhearted, he actively fed and comforted them. Compassion demands action.
Wow.
And it notes how this transforms relationships practically. Like a husband listening before reacting, or a wife offering grace, or a parent correcting with love.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me, but also kind of overwhelming.
Oh, the burnout factor.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if compassion always requires action, like the source says, doesn't that just lead to total burnout? How do you balance that without trying to fix everything for everyone?
What's fascinating here is that the text doesn't actually ask you to fix the world.
Wait, really? It doesn't?
No, not at all. It's fundamentally about presence. It points out that when someone is in a difficult season, they aren't usually looking for a mechanic to fix their life.
That is such a good point.
Yeah, every act of compassion, even just a friend remaining present in the mess, reminds people they aren't alone. You don't have to solve the problem. Just offer your presence in a world that's usually so eager to point out faults.
Okay, but if we are constantly offering grace and just being present, that brings up a pretty critical dilemma.
The whole enabling bad behavior thing.
Exactly. Does compassion mean we just let bad behavior slide? Do we just smile and nod?
The source explicitly warns against ignoring truth. It creates this powerful dichotomy where truth without compassion becomes harsh. But compassion without truth becomes misleading. You're basically handing them a flawed map just to make them feel better in the moment.
Oh, I like that. So it's almost like navigating a ship. Truth is your compass keeping you from getting lost, but compassion is the hull keeping you afloat. You absolutely need both to survive.
I love that analogy. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it requires immense critical thinking. The text talks about holding both together, speaking truth with love, and recognizing that behind every struggle is a deeply loved soul.
So why does this matter to you, listening right now? Well, the text provides a very direct action plan.
Yeah, identify one person in your life going through a difficult season who maybe needs your compassion right now a lot more than your criticism.
And reach out to them today. Just offer a listening ear, a prayer, or some practical help. Because the core maxim we are left with is this: compassion begins when another person's pain becomes important to your heart.
Such a powerful takeaway.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the source focuses heavily on personal relationships, husbands, wives, friends. But think about this for a second. What if we took this exact framework of balancing truth with compassion and applied it to how we interact with anonymous strangers on the internet?
Oh, wow, that would be wild.
Right. If we looked at a digital broken branch and remembered there are thirsty roots underneath, how drastically would our digital world change by tomorrow?